All right. Are we good? The sound? Okay. Can you hear me now? If so, I will come out and come back in. Okay. All right, and I did a really good introduction then. So, hello there, everyone. I am sorry about the technical difficulties. My computer didn't want to pick up my mic today, so I've had to flip over to a different one. So hopefully this one is working now. That's good. So hello there, everyone that has popped in. I do hope that you've had a great weekend and that you have something planned for the week 2. The lovely Han will be behind the alt new badge today, and she'll be popping in all of the links from the products that we do use. So now that we've passed the 12th of the month, that means that we have had our Marvellous monthly series release, which has our Build a Garden, sorry, we've evolved the Build a Flower to the Build a Garden. We have the Craft a Flower, the Paint a Flower, the Mini Delight, and also the Craft Your Life project kit. So we will take a quick look at those, and then I'm going to be creating 3 cards with some of the products that we have. So I am sorry about the technical difficulties. I do hope that you're all good now, and I can see that everyone can hear. Yes, yes. So, okay, we may have a little bit of a different mic, but hopefully we are good. So I am going to pop you guys all down now so we can see. Also, I don't know if I mentioned it. I know I did when the sound was off. But if you do share this live stream, you are in with a chance of winning a $15 gift certificate to the Altenew store. All right, I am going to move you guys down now so we can take a look at the products even, and then we can create a project. All right, okay. So I'm sorry about my little computer there. Thank you so much for sharing, everyone, and for spending some time for me. It's lovely to see a lot of regular faces on the little avatars on the side. So first up, we have the Craft Your Life project kit, Magnolia and Blooms. So in here, we get 4 different products. We get the 6x8 stamp set. So you can see that we have this large image here of the magnolias and little blossoms too. We also have the lots of sentiments too. So I'm just going to flip that open. You can see that we do have the layering guide for the stamp set in here, as well as some inspiration too. So as well as the stamp set, you will also get the coordinating die, and that's going to cut out that lovely kind of corner image that we have here. As well as that, we have the simple coloring stencil. In here, we have 5 different stencils that is going to allow you to create this beautiful image that you can see here. And then we also have the 3D embossing folder as well. Again, that beautiful image. And if you really wanted to, you can kind of use this on the embossing folder. It may take a little bit of moving around to get the images to fit in perfectly, because this was designed to work with the stamp, but I mean, double trouble if you can get it to work with the 3D embossing folder as well. All right, okay. So that one is the Craft Your Life project kit, Magnolia and Blooms. And I've just got 3 cards with this one. We will be creating 2 of the cards today. We're going to create this one here, and we're also going to create this one. So I'm going to create 2 with the project kit and then 1 with this one here. So, okay. This is one of my favorites from this release. As you know, I'm Welsh, and our kind of national flower is the daffodil. So every time there's a daffodil, I kind of always gravitate towards it. So this one is the Build a Garden Daffodil Delight. So in here, you get the 6x8 stamp set with the 2 beautiful floral clusters, as well as a sentiment. So if I flip this open, you can see that we do have the layering guide in here. So that's going to help you kind of line things up really quickly and easily with the stamp set and the simple coloring. So I did mention the simple coloring stencil. So in here, we have 3 different stencils that is going to allow you to add the layers to those images that you can see in the stamp set. I don't have it with me, but there is also an add-on for this set. So this is the Build a Flower Daffodil Delight. If you're going to buy the set, you will get the stamp set and the simple colouring stencil. You can also purchase an add-on die, which will be extra, which will cut out around these two images as well. So we will be creating a card kind of like this, not completely. If you do want to see this card created, please check out the YouTube video from Friday, and I actually show you how I created all of this beautiful dimension with those beautiful daffodils. I'll be using the same colors to create that because I have some spare pieces when creating this card. Okay, so that's another card that we're going to make, and I'm just going to show you these ones. This one is the Craft a Flower Open Peony. Now this is fabulous. So don't worry about being late, everyone. It's fine. You can always rewatch if you want to too. So in this one, we have a number of different dies. Oops. And we have the little key lock system. So you're going to cut out all of your elements. And then when you've cut them all out, you're just going to line up this little cutout. It's a little arrow on here. Sometimes it's a key, sometimes an arrow. And you're just going to layer those together, lining up these. And that is going to make for you lining up these beautiful flowers perfectly, quickly and easily the first time, which is fabulous. So you can see I've created two of these. One, I just laid everything nice and flat down on the flowers. And this one here, I did in fact use foam tape, so we have a lot more dimension on that one. If you are using foam tape for the layers, I would recommend that you stick this one down with some glue tape or some wet glue, and you may need to hold the pieces to get them in the perfect place for that one. So that one is the Craft a Flower Open Peony. Okay. Oops, I'm dragging things. Next up, we have the Paint a Flower Wood Anemone. So we have two different cards here, both using watercolors. I do love watercolors with the Paint a Flower, but you could use whatever is your favorite coloring medium. So coloring pencils and even artist markers would work beautifully on this as well. We do have a question from Lizette. Yes, the Craft a Flower Open Peony, the layers on there are also numbered. Oops, I think I've just put one out. So hopefully you can see it there. So we have like a 3, a 1, and a 2 on there as well. Okay, so I'm going to go back to, oops, please don't lose that, to this one. So we have this really large anemone, and then we have lots of beautiful leaves coming out the outside. You can see that it is a really large image. There's some great kind of space on here to kind of practice your coloring as well. Yes, for the Build a Garden, there are add-on dies that will cut out the two images from the beautiful daffodils there. All right, last but not least in this little release that we have on the 12th of each month is the Mini Delight Like a Star. So we have this really cute kind of balloon image here. We have the outline and also the solid image with the two missing pieces that would act as a highlight. As well as the 2x3 stamp set, you will also receive the matching die, which will cut out the images perfectly. There are also two sentiments on there too. So I've created two cards with this one, and you know, both of them are rainbow, but in a different way. So we have this really beautiful gradient effect here, and then I just heat embossed the solid image on here with some clear embossing powder. This one I just stamped the images and kind of did a little bit of rock and roll around one of the edges before cutting that out with the die. So that one is the Mini Delight Like a Star. All right. So let's get on, shall we? I'll do one from the Craft Your Life Magnolia, and then I'll swap to the Daffodil, and then we'll go back to this kit. So the first one that we're going to create is this one here. I have just remembered I've forgotten my jet black. Won't be 2 seconds. I just need to run, well, not run, just kind of do 2 large steps to my inks, which are on the other side. And I have my jet black there. So I'm going to start by stamping this image. Where has my piece of paper gone? Oh, okay, one sec. I think I accidentally put my cardstock away when I was tidying up. So I think I'm having technical difficulties and silly mistakes today. Sorry, everyone. All right. Okay, so I have my large image from here. Now, if you don't have a large block, there are ways that you can use this without, in fact, having a large block. So if you have a stamp positioning tool, you could use that. And you could also use this off a stamp positioner. That would work as well. But just in case you don't own anything like that, I do want to show you another way that you can, in fact, stamp this image without any of those things. So hopefully this works. What I'm going to do is I'm, in fact, going to leave my image on this carrier sheet, but I'm going to remove all of the sentiments. Okay. I can pop all these sentiments back on. But if you don't have a large tool to kind of stamp these images, it's always a good idea to kind of find other ways around it. You could definitely stick it onto your work surface if you wanted to, but I like the kind of maneuverability that you're going to get with just keeping this on there. Okay. Normally I'd put those in a little bowl so I don't lose any. Hopefully I'm not going to. Because I am going to be using a dye ink for this outline, I am just going to take my stamp conditioning eraser and just go over this. And I'm not pressing too hard. I'm not kind of scrubbing at it. I'm just kind of whispering over the top just to get rid of any shiny areas. There we go. Yeah, you wouldn't have thought that I would have lost cardstock, but I did. All right, so I'm going to take my jet black. I'm going to ink this up. It is a large stamp, so it's going to take some inking. I remember when I first started stamping, I bought the biggest block that I could find because I thought that would do everything, but it didn't really work out that well. Okay, so I'm just dropping that down. Hopefully I didn't move it down too much. And I'm just going to use my ink pad to kind of burnish along the top. I think I moved this before I got it down, but hopefully we should be okay. Oh, yes, I did. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try it again because I did get a really nasty shadow that time. It's best just to let it drop with this. But you can see I didn't miss any spots. The inking was good. The execution, not so much. Go. All right. You can see I just dropped it. I mean, if you do have a stamp positioning tool, please use that. But if you don't, there is a way that you can use it without having a big block. Missed that piece. I'm just going to use this one. But yeah, it does take a little bit of practice makes perfect, or use a stamp positioning tool or a larger kind of stamp block. Right, so I have my image stamped now, and I am going to go ahead and ink this up. I have one that I've already created, which I'm gonna need two. So I created this one before. Sharon, it did bounce a little bit, just there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of replicate these colors that I have. So I'm going to take the first stencil. So for this one here, it's just going to go around this large flower that we have and the two smaller ones. So these are all the magnolias that we have in the set. Okay, I'm just going to add a little bit of tape. You don't necessarily have to. You can definitely hold this down, and I probably will just move ahead with no tape further down. I'm just going to grab a pink out. I have a small blending tool, and I'm going to go baby pink. Okay, so I'm just going to ink that through. If you wanted to, you could heat set the ink a little bit. I'm just going to go with it. Okay, so that is the baby pink. Just going to pick this up. See, I told you I would give up with the tapes. I'm just going to move that over, and you can see just how easy that is. I've just kind of slid it over, lining up this bit here and the bottom edge of the bud, and also this triangular piece at the base of this petal here, and that is good to go. I'm going to go in with the fuchsia. Okay. And that is the first stencil done. I'm just going to move that over into my cleaning pile. I can take the second stencil. This is going to line up on the smaller flowers. Kind of all of the odd leaves, or all of the odd petals, or all of the even petals. Not quite sure, but I'm going to go with that. And I'm going to go Volcano Lake for this one. I'm just going to grab another blending tool. If you are curious about my storage that I have for these, so these are the small blending tools that we have, and I do have them in the storage caddy from Old to New, and I do keep them this way because I can see the beautiful colors when they're in rainbow order. All right, so I have my little blending tool here, and I'm going in with Volcano Lake. Make sure they're nice in the right position. Ink through. Trying to add more ink to the base of these petals rather than the tips. And that one is stencil 2 done. Oops, stencil 3 is on the floor. Don't worry, stencil 3 is now back on the table. Okay. So I'm just going to line this one up with all of the petals that didn't get done with stencil 2. And we'll go in Lagoon for this one, using the same blending tool as before. This is the one that I use for my beautiful lagoony tealy colors. Okay. Stencil 3, all we need to do now is turn it around. Okay. And this one I'm going to line up with that center point in that flower. And then you can see that the other flower centers will line up as well. I'm going to be using some of the Snapdragon for the flower centers. This is one of my favorite oranges that we have. I seem to go grab this one in chamomile because it's like a cross between a really dark yellow and an orange. So it's one of my favorites. So if you're after some orangey yellows, they're the ones to get there. The golden sunsets one. Yes, Amy, they do. As soon as you start putting color on here, and even though it's so quick and easy with these, it is just magical. All right, number 4, I am going to pop in my little stem first. And for the stem, I'm going to go with mountain pine. So I have the mini blending tool for this one, just because I just want to get right in there. Okay. And now all I need to do is move the stencil over, and that is going to go into half of the little leaves that we have. I'm going to go in with grass field. So the first one that I did for the stem was the mountain pine, and I'm now going to be using the grass field. So these are both in the same color family. I believe this one is the green meadow. Oh, Amy, I'm glad. I hope. You know, I think that this is pretty relaxing. I don't think this is relaxing as watching watercoloring, but ink blending definitely is relaxing doing it and also watching, I think. Okay. Okay. So that is the grass field. Thank you, Sue. We have some really bright colors today in this one. I'm loving it. So I have Shadow Creek. I'm going to move out that stencil and go into the last one, which is number 5. They are all numbered. I didn't show you before, but they do all have the number on here as well. And because you can see the little alternate etching, you know which side the stencil is correct as well. Pop that into position. Sharon, oh, it is super, super easy. So if you are like me and it takes you forever to color an image and you sometimes think, I love that image, I really, really do, but I don't think I have the time to color it, these stencils are a game changer. There are plenty on our website that do have the coloring stencils like this. And there are also some that do work with the embossing folder as well. So that's good too. Okay. Right. So I've colored my images. Amy, I don't think it would be too hard. I mean, I don't think I could do it all in one sitting because sometimes it does take a lot of work just to ink blend. But if you were planning on doing it over a couple of days, I think it would be okay. Also, because it's repetitive, you could just use one stencil, have all of your stamps stamped, and then just do the first stencil. So do all the pink flowers, all the 100 ones of those, and then go through it like that. I think that would make it easier if you had some kind of conveyor belt system. Oh, sorry. My talking is not great today. All right, so I'm just going to grab my large die cutting machine. I'm just going to pop it on the side here, trying to move some things out of the way. Okay. So I'm going to pop that into place. And I'm going to need the die for this one. So in this set, you do get the coordinating die. So that tape that I gave up on before, I can now reuse. Now these are open face dies, so you're going to be able to see exactly where you're cutting. So you're going to kind of line it up so you can see the image all the way through the die, and then thank you, Amy. Yeah, my husband wouldn't say that he likes my talking so much. It would be very pretty for a wedding shower. So there's my first one. And pop that down. And then pop this one into place. Normally I would get rid of all of the like insidey pieces. That one's stuck in a little bit, but as we're maybe a little bit pushed for time, I'm just going to go with it. If it doesn't cut this time around, it's fine. Okay. Yeah, just need to take my cardigan off. I'm working out, just just doing the die cutting. All right, so we have our 2 images here and a card front. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of place them into position. Now you're going to want to work out which way you want to go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck the pink flowers on top of the blue ones. So I'm going to place that down and kind of pull this one up and then move them into place so they are just around, just hanging over a little bit. I don't want to waste too much of that beautiful stamping that we've just created. All right. Okay, so I'm just going to add a little bit of tape just to those images. You could use some of that press and seal if you have it. I'm going to flip that over, and then we're going to use, oops. Oh, just havoc here today. I'm dropping things, forgetting things. Right, so I'm just using the foam tape from Altenew now. And I'm making sure that I'm going over those 2 pieces. So it's in theory going to make just one die cut image. I'm not going to add too much foam tape. Normally I would add a bit more than I'm going to today and pay a little bit more attention to things, but we are live, so I do want to kind of get this card near enough finished. And then we can move on to the next one. Okay. Okay, so I can pick that up, pop that back into place, or if you wanted to, you could go this way around by placing the panel on the back. Completely up to you. You can see that we've got that there. If you wanted to, and you wanted to keep these overhanging pieces, you definitely could. The only one I would recommend that you kind of cut off is the bottom one. So you could stick this onto a card front, and then because we have that flat edge, it would still stand up, but it would just have all of these pretty elements around the outside. I'm going to see if I do have a sentiment already. Would be handy if I do. If not, I'm not going to worry. It looks like I ran out of all of my little sentiments. Yep. Okay. So all I would need to do now is I could either cut off all of the overhanging pieces. I am going to leave them on, and then just add in a sentiment here. Or you could even stamp one directly on this little panel that we have here. Let's see if I've got one that is small enough. Oh, we do. So this is from the same stamp set. We have a little hello. Pop that on. Obsidian ink is my go-to for sentiments. It's just so bold. Look that up. And then pop that in the center. So there we go. This one looks a lot fresher than this one just because of how we have changed up that sentiment. So there is our first one. Hopefully we can create another card now. All right. I'm stood up. I feel like I'm working really hard when you stand up at your craft desk, right? So we're going to create a card kind of like this one here, but I do have some added pieces to use too. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create the same color. So I'm going to create it like this, but it is going to be flat. So this is the Daffodil Delight. Now, I don't, in fact, have the dies for this, but you can get the add-on die as an extra if you wanted to. I'm going to be using a piece of Classic Crest Solar White, and I'm going to grab this beautiful image that we have here. Okay, so I'm going to be using some industrial diamond ink for this one. You could definitely use a black ink, but I did want a softer look as we're going to be using really, really light colors. I didn't want to use a too darker ink to make it too stark. So that's why I'm going to go in with some industrial diamonds. So, yep, that obsidian is a life changer. Okay. I didn't in fact go over that with my stamp eraser, but hopefully we'll be okay. I think we should be. Okay. Now this one I've gone too far down with, but it's going to be fine. Vicky, yes, there is a re-inker. Right. Move some stuff over. Creating. This one, I believe this one's the thinner one, which is £80, I believe. I always use this for card fronts, and then the card bases is normally the thicker one. All right. So I've stamped my image, and we can go ahead and add in the layers. So I have this just for kind of colors at the side. This is the first stencil. Now, this one does take a little bit of twisting around, I believe. No, okay, there we go. I wasn't looking properly. So number one, I'm lining up this piece here first, and then the other images just kind of fit in into that. Amy, I really hope that you do get crafting. There's nothing better than a handmade thing. Handmade thing, handmade card or a present. Thing's not the right word to use there. Now, I normally forget about our really light inks. Now, we've come up with a selection of really light inks. Now, normally when you look at our inks, I don't know if I've got any of the new ones. Aha, here we go. So I'm just going to grab these in just so I can kind of talk it through. So this is a selection of greens that we have. And if we flip them over, you can see that we have a little number in here. So that kind of corresponds to the lightest and darkness of what they are. So 1 will be the lightest, and then you will go up 2, 3, and 4, and that will be your layers. Now, sometimes people want a lighter flower or a lighter leaf or anything like that, and that's why we come up with the lighter ones. I'm trying to remember what they are called. They're all on the like ice cream kind of range. I'm sorry, Han, it's escaped me. But they are in a group of 6, and all of them have the number 0 on there. So that means that these would come before 1 when you create your images. And I just think that these are just really beautiful colors. So if you are creating like wedding stationery and things like that, and you normally have kind of light colors, these may be the ones that you would like to go for. Okay, so for this first stencil, now that I've waxed lyrical about these enough, I am going to go in with lemon ice. I'm just going to open that up and look through the stencil. Hey, Christine. Okay, so I put that in place and ink through. Now it does look pretty dark, but don't worry, that's going to really lighten up. And I have in fact gone wrong there. I only wanted to add the yellow around the trumpet section on this one. I'll go over that one, don't worry. Things can be saved, things can be changed. It's okay, everything's fine. So I'm believing that's still trumpet. Maybe it's not, but for now, it's trumpet. Okay. Ooh. So I'm going to grab the orange sorbet. Okay. And then I'm going to go in with the petals with the orange sorbet. I do love the names on these. Frozen Delights. Yeah. Thank you, Han. Yes, the greens that I've shown you with the Misty Moor, they are the Nature's Wonder. So thank you, Han, for that one. But these ice creamy colors ones, they are the Frozen Delights. So it comes in a pack of 6. Okay. It took me a little while. My brain wasn't functioning correctly, but it got there. So there we go. So I'm adding that to the kind of petals there. Oh, Roxy, these are beautiful colors. This is one of my favorites. Just beautiful. So if you do like corally colors, this is a beautiful one to go under the pink pearl from the Tea Party collection. Oh, my favorite. All right, so I've added my orange sorbet. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to move that stencil slightly. And this is just going to line up with this petal, the centerpiece, and these 2 leaves here. So I'm just going to add in. Oh, no, that wasn't a petal. Oh, I got too excited, didn't I? So I'm going to go in with some marshland. So this is from the Nature's Wonders. That's in fact the stem part of the flower. I'm going to go in with the same color for that and also the leaves. Hey, Teresa. Frozen Lights. Thank you, Avril. Yeah, I got it too. I think we must have thought of it the same time. Okay, number 2. I'm going to add in the leaves. I'm going to go in with Misty Moor for this one. I'm going to try and speed up a little bit because I do have another card idea to get through as well. So pop that into place. So I'm going to be adding the lemon ice to the trumpet part of our daffodil, and then my orange sorbet. You can see I'm using the same ink blending tool because the colors are so light. They don't really make too much of a difference to each other, and I did already mess up on those petals anyway, so it's gonna be fine. Okay, so that was 2, and now we have number 3. So I'm going to add all these ones here, these base ones, in with the lemon ice first. Oh, yeah, right one. I scared myself a little bit. I also, Raina, these blending tools really help with getting a light color down as well. They're not really, these ones I find are a little bit more challenging to kind of control, but they are so much better for getting in smaller areas. But what the trick with these that I find is if you ink something up, okay, I'm just gonna get some, there we go. If you ink something up, then put that down, you can sometimes get a bit of a, where the paper just grabbed that ink and just hold on to it. So what I do is I tap mine off into my lid, and I don't tend to get too much of a problem. I did press down a little bit, but that should kind of blend out there. So yeah, they're really easy to use. All right, I've made a mess. I've confused myself. No, I haven't. I know where I am. It's okay. It's fine. So I'm going to twist and pop that into place. And for this layer here, I'm going to be using some butternut. So this is the lightest of one of the Fall Harvest collection. And against that color underneath, you can see there is a huge, huge difference. So, you know, you can see how light you can actually go. This is actually number 1 of the ink collection that one comes from. So there we go. I think I must have missed these somewhere, but it's going to be fine. It's okay. So I did the card on YouTube, so on Friday, which was this one here. And while I was creating that card, I come up with some pieces that I didn't use. So I have some extras, and I'm just going to use these for this one. You can get the add-on die. I don't actually have it with me, and you all know me. I do like some fussy cutting. Normally, if I was doing it like this, I would cut right up to the... I only cut up to the edges where I'm trying to disguise the image. So here, I'm not worried about going up to the edge, but over here, I kind of want to get rid of those little lines. Okay. I'm just going to do one. I mean, I could definitely use those other ones to kind of fill it out a little bit more in a bit once we have finished the live, but just for all intents and purposes, I just want to show you the technique rather than making you watch me cut for 20 minutes. That wouldn't be good. Oh, Raina, yes, please just try dabbing it off either onto a piece of paper or the inside of your ink, because you can always pick the ink up again from there using your blending tool, so it's not going to go to waste. So now I can add kind of more dimension and look like this bouquet is larger by adding more flowers on top with a little bit of foam tape. Naomi, yes, but I'm sure you're going to use all of the things that you bought. We'd like to think. Oh, Naomi, yes, she was just stuck somewhere. Bridget is totally fine. I'm glad you did get the message. I popped them all out, but yeah, she is fine. She's going to do it tomorrow. She was just stuck and couldn't get to her computer. So there we go. So kind of we could have added them down here, but I do love to create really soft flowers, and those frozen delights are perfect for that. Okay, so there is that one. Let us get on to the last one for today. I didn't think I was going to get there, but we're there. Everything's good. And it is going to be a Craft Your Life Magnolia and Blooms, and it's going to be this one here. So this one uses an inked effect on the embossing folder itself, and also a little tiny bit of watercolor. So there we go. I know, Sue. I actually, I planned things out really meticulously this time. It did take me a while to kind of plan things out, but I think we're good. We've got lots of different techniques going on. All right, so I have my Magnolia and Blooms. I'm just going to grab my turn, which is in fact my die cutting machine. One sec, because I want to have it ready. Now, I am going to be using my embossing folder. If you have a big shot like I do, what I do is I just take out this plastic plate, and the other two cutting plates and the base one are good for 3D embossing folders. So I'm just going to move that over. All right. Now I'm going to open up my 3D embossing folder, and you're going to want the side where the image is debossed. So that's where it's concave, so going in on itself. And you want the background to be raised. So on this one, it is the one where the writing is on. So that one is what I'm going to do. I am going to use some obsidian once I found out where I buried it. Here we go. So, and we're going to ink up. You can actually do this, right? So as you can see, I'm kind of swirling and tapping. Over here, I'm doing it quite firm, but when I get to the flowers, I'm just going to tap a little bit lighter. I mean, I am going to get some kind of black on these flowers, and it does add a beautiful kind of vintagey effect, but I don't want to add too much, so I am just tapping quite lightly there. Twist, 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 tap, 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 twist and tap. And I always find that this, like the edges of my ink pad are more juicy, so I'm kind of add a little bit more pressure to those than the center part. Twist and tap, 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 tap. Trying to be a little bit more gentle around here. You can in fact use the jet black pigment ink as well. You can do that, but before you watercolor, you would need to heat set that, because it can actually be activated by water when it's not heat set. Okay, I have a piece of watercolor cardstock, and I'm going to pop that into place onto this side of my embossing folder. All right, so I'm going to flip that up, and now when we place this down, you need to make sure that you do not move anything. All right, everything needs to stay. Okay, so we're just going to, all right, so I'm going to be careful to lift that up. If you need to get under it, kind of use some tweezers or something just to lift it up, and make sure you keep that nicely grasped, because You don't want anything to move at this point. Okay. If you're having trouble with getting this through your emboss machine, make sure that it hasn't got too much kind of pressure. You may need to play around with the plates. I also find that putting it in on a diagonal angle does help. Press that down. Okay, and we're just going to crank that through. Okay. Oh. Right. Okay. So I've just run that through once. As you can imagine, this embossing folder is going to need a really, really good clean once you've done this technique. But I find that hand sanitizer really gets the ink off. Oh, I didn't ink up there very well, but never mind. Never mind. I'm sure we can get around that. But you can see that is the images that you're going to get from that. Right. Let's see if we can kind of sort out there. I'm just using the thing again. Maybe we just add a little bit of there we go. That's disguised. All right. But how cool does that look? It looks like newspaper print. And you still got a beautiful dimension there as well. All right. Again, please make sure that you clean that. The longer that you leave it, the harder it's going to be to get rid of. But the stamp cleaner from Altenew does work really well too. Okay. I need a little bit of water. I'm using my 24 pan set from Altenew. Just going to kind of activate that a little bit. I'm just going to use this Fall Harvest color and some of those greens, so I just need to add water into that. I just used my little fine mister. All right. Okay. I'm going to take that one, which we all know is my favorite. So this one is the Tropical Forest. Just going to add that down there. And I'm not actually going to colour those white flowers in at all. I'm just going to be colouring in everything else. Because we have that really dark background, it's not going to matter too much if you go off. The only place that you need to be really careful is around those white petals. I'm just adding a colour wash in. I'm going to grab some of this green that I've just got lying around and dab that in. Just to the base of those petals and down the centre, just to give us a look of depth and add interest. The flower is in fact embossed like normal, so the background has been pushed down. See just how quick and easy that is because we do have that really dark background. If you did want something slightly lighter, but you still wanted this kind of dramatic look, we do have a sapphire pigment ink, and that's like a really dark navy blue. So that would be very pretty as well, I think. And because we have, you know, spots of that black at points, that kind of goes into deeper crevices. So it's actually acting as shade. So even though when you're inking that up and you're like, oh, no, 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 please don't go there. Please don't go there. Sometimes it can be a really good thing that it has popped down there, because look at all the shading that we've got around here just from that ink that I didn't even intentionally do. Oops. Okay. So just quickly add that in. That's a leaf, so I can go over that one. That's the, I'm not sure what this is called, like the bud piece that connects the flower to the stem. There's got to be a technical kind of name for that, and I really should research it because I kind of just call it the buddy piece all the time, and I know there's got to be something else. Okay, so I'm adding in that stipple in, just dropping in the color where I think it's going to be the darkest. Okay, and there we go. Oh, thanks, Naomi. Roxy, yeah, changing the color of the cardstock would be cool as well. So I'm just going to use that for the flower centers. I've got a bit too much on there. I don't want it too bright. I'm just adding those in. There we go. So I can move that over now. I need to make sure that I do clean off that embossing folder. But there we go. So there is it. You may think that it may have taken longer than that, but that was the quickest one that we have done. And I do think that it's very, very pretty. It is stunning. So that one is there. Oh, Roxy, yes, this would work with a lot of different folders. Just remember when you are kind of figuring out which side to go on, you want to ink on the side where the background is higher than the image. So you don't want to ink on this side, because if you did, you would just be inking the flowers. So make sure that when you ink it up, the background is higher, so you ink the background rather than the other way around. So there we go. So we've created 3 different cards today. That's not the one I created today. Where is it? There we go. This one, which was kind of like this one. We did go off a little bit, but hey, if you do want to find out how to do this one, please check out the YouTube channel from Friday. But here we go. We have lots of different techniques that we talked about today. We did lots of ink blending, we did some watercoloring, and we also did some dry embossing. So I really do hope that you have enjoyed today. I am going to pop you guys up so I can say hi and bye. All right. Okay. There we go. All right. Yes, and I did have to take my cardigan off because it did get too warm when I was hand cranking my turn. So thank you everyone for spending some time with me today. It has been a pleasure to have you guys out there. I really do hope that today's session has made you a little bit inspired to go and get crafting. Grab out your supplies and create something beautiful. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. Thank you so much to the lovely Han for being behind the badge and popping in all of the links. We will see you again very, very soon. Bye-bye.